anything up or not?
I don't care, it's up to you guys.
Yeah, I got one.
Well, it is a public meeting. It is being recorded.
I brought it. I just forgot.
Okay. Gotta wash this thing. Interesting smells.
Yep, liquor store sells mask mitts.
Oh, did they?
Yep.
Okay, we'll call to order. Pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And roll call, please.
Peter Ackerman,
Present.
Kim Grady,
Present.
Peter Carlin,
Present.
Dave Brooks,
Present.
Kevin Battle,
Present.
Quorum's present.
Okay. We have approval of the minutes for our January meeting plus the 2 workshops.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Second.
Seconded.
Okay. Moved and seconded. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Citizen participation? Don't see any. Staff presentations. You're doing whatever order you want.
All right, we start with the operations for the emergencies for January. We had a total of 89 emergencies, 16 of them were fires, 56 were medical related, 5 were vehicle accidents, 1 water rescue, and 8 lift assist, 3 public assists overall. And so far, which this has some of February's in here, but so far we're sitting at 102 calls so far this year already. Monthly training report for the training desk. Total hours from last board meeting to this board meeting was 163.75 hours of training conducted. Total annual 197 and a quarter. We did go through a new CPR course. We signed up with a new program, and so we were able to get 4 instructors up and running, and we've been holding CPR courses to renew all of our responders' CPR cards for this year, and we just finished the recruits last month, and so we'll be continuing to move forward there, eventually getting back to offering CPR courses to the public as well.
That's the $3,000 check.
Yep, that was establishing, getting the instructors up and running and getting the first round of cards in. Yep, that won't be normal.
Okay.
We do have some training sessions that are coming up outside of drill. We are doing hazmat awareness and operations. We have an FBA instructor 1 coming up, and the driver operator is coming up for the recruits. Academy is still the same. We haven't had any change in the number of students. And right now I'm really trying, and we haven't really had a lot of COVID-19 restrictions that come on us that caused any schedule changes. So I'm really trying to keep the graduation right at April 7th and not extend it out any further. So, and they're doing really good. Like I said, we did a 4-hour CPR with them last night. So that's it for training. Maintenance.
Station 74, Tide Rivers, we haven't done anything new up there. Everything's pretty much on track and working the way it's supposed to be. Tidewater buses arrive on the 24th. I believe you guys just seen the checks go, that check went by your desk there. So I'm hoping to have the roof dried in and sheeting on it by the 5th of March. All the doors have been delivered and all in the windows. So they're black garage roll-up doors. When it's all done, it'll be 13 feet wide and 13 foot 6 tall, which is about 2 feet wider, about a foot wider than what they were, and 2 feet taller than what they were existing, because we wanted to make sure that we get the newer fire stations down the road into it, or fire trucks. And then I also ordered a new sign, and I forgot to print it out, but I'll walk around and show you the picture of it. It's pretty cool. So, of course, you all know we're working with McKinsey Group, and we'll figure that out on Station 72. All the apparatus is actually doing pretty good. We're not nothing significantly broken right now, which is cool.
Please knock on wood.
Yeah. We did purchase some new battery-based tools instead of the gas. We ran into a problem with trying to get our gas case out working one day, and so we decided to go with the DeWalt power tools. They're battery-based. They have a bank of 4 batteries, so we have 1 battery in the chargers and 1 on the equipped piece of equipment. We have a chainsaw, K-saw, sawzall, and one other thing. Done a bunch. But hopefully those will work out really well. I'm personally a bigger fan of gas tools than I am battery tools, especially in emergency stuff. I've heard good things and good reviews of the newer batteries, so.
How good are the chainsaws? I'm just,
Actually, I used to, it wasn't a DeWalt, it was a Cobalt, and I used a still one of my K cells out of LC Bay, the battery ones, and they work really good for what we would use them for, because most of the time you're only going to penetrate siding. You know, you might go into it and cut a couple studs, but, you know, the roofing, you're still, even then, you're going through very thin material, so it's not like it needs to be heavy duty.
right, we're not cutting trees down with it.
Yeah, we're not, falling trees, so.
Okay.
And then, we ordered, because City Hall kiked our sign out here. Instead of saying Walport Fire Rescue, we ordered a sign, a double-sided sign, just like Tidewater's, out at Route Heater. So the Walport and the Fire Rescue will go away, and it'll say the station on it. Let me find it real quick. I can show you, I should have printed it out. No, it's just a sign to.
So while he's pulling up that picture, I didn't really have a written admin report. I was just going to basically explain the notebooks. We thought that this would be an easier way
Ooh, nice.
to get any mail that needs to come to you. Obviously, if it has like a deadline that needs to get to you faster, we'll get to you faster. But so in the very
Okay.
front of that book, we'll have your mail-wise that comes in for you. But then you can see that each section has a different, so it kind of follows the agenda each month.
This one.
Just a little bit easier way to make sure you have all that stuff in
So
that packet.
this amount
for
there,
each
is that for
meeting.
both signs?
We'll still email it prior so that you get a preview, but this way you'll have it printed out, you won't have to print it out.
He probably did 2 different.
So you can take all the papers out of it, but just leave the binder itself, and I'll collect them and do that for you each month.
I haven't seen that
And
one.
then hopefully everybody's been able to actually finally get into the emails
Okay.
part of it. I know Peter was still having problems, but I helped him out today, so.
I'm still having problems, I don't know, sorry.
I
I lost track of it, I think you had me scored away, but I just lost track, sorry. Nice.
Yeah, I actually got mine into Outlook now, so it's part of
And
mine.
that Outlook is a weird one with that, trying to log in to set up Outlook for that particular email. It wants you to try and log in, and then it won't recognize it, so you have to do like the advanced setup or manual setup. And it's kind of a weird one. So, I mean, if anybody has a laptop they want it on, or a cell phone, if you have time, just holler at me and I can set up a time to meet up with you and help. If you are on our website and you go down to where it says district email and click on that, and then as soon as that page comes up, bookmark it, that's
Okay.
the login page.
Okay.
And that takes you to the webmail site. It's a little different than like using Outlook. You have to pick either the Horde or the Roundcube. Roundcube is the easier one to use, and just hit set it as default. So, and it won't ask you each time once you do that. But then if you have that page bookmarked, you can just, you don't have to go to the website every time to log in, and stuff. And then in the settings, there's a place where you can change the password, or if you have a password you want to use, send it to me and I can manually do it from the back end too.
Cool.
And stuff, so. And yeah, I'll show you after the meeting.
Yeah,
later.
yeah, good. I got hacked right away on that. You sent me an email, and it was a little strange because it said urgent. I need for you to do something for me, and asked to go in and buy some of these gift cards, and you wanted.
And it came from me?
Yeah, it came from you.
Yeah, I got one too.
It actually didn't come from you, it just said your name.
Yeah.
It was,
Called-
yeah, it was a mass over,
Yeah.
but I didn't
Yeah,
realize.
mine didn't say anything about gift cards, but it was something about an urgent matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
that does
even
happen.
wrote
from
you
time
back
to
and said,
time on
okay,
these.
how many do you need?
I never got that email.
Peter's buying all kinds of gift cards. He brings them to the next meeting. And here you go. Here's these gift cards you were wanting.
Yeah.
That was all I had.
Sweet. Thank you.
Okay. That was quick. Alrighty. Volunteer report.
Rick couldn't make it tonight, he was working all day at being a chaplain, so he wanted to ask me to just basically touch base. There's not a lot to report, well, of course, the recruits are starting to get their own codes as they, and being able to come down a little more often, which is awesome. We do have a couple of our longtime volunteers that have been starting to do the stipend shifts and hang out and ride the engine, so we're, like the last couple of days, we've been running 4 on the engine between the paid and volunteers, so we're getting the volunteers down quite a bit, and Bob and Jim have been helping out tremendously. One of the recruits has been coming up to Tidewater, helping out at the Tidewater station a lot. It's been a huge help. So,
You want me to?
huh?
So one of the other things, at our last Volunteers
Oh, yeah.
Association meeting, because I'm kind of the support and community outreach coordinator, we were trying to come up with ways that we could fundraise for the association. So we decided to, we actually started a fundraiser committee. So we'll, probably at our next meeting, which is Monday, we'll kind of figure out a time where the fundraising committee can get together. But we've got some different ideas on ways we can fundraise even with COVID, because that's been a struggle, because we don't do the normal fundraising that we do. So we're coming up with some creative ways to do some fundraising that the community can still be involved in. We can still raise money to still do some of the community stuff that we do and things. So looking forward to having an actual committee to just focus just on the fundraising stuff, because one person is a little harder to do all of it. So
Yeah, back in the day, it was nice when all people had to do was drop off newspapers and the association
Yeah.
would make $700 a quarter or something like that for it, so, but those days are gone.
we did great when we had the Wednesday market going, because Charlie and one of our residents, Riley, were over there, not only educating people on smoke alarms, but they were selling masks and T-shirts, and the masks were selling like crazy. That we actually did really good on the masks. So, and they're not the best ones if you have a smaller face like me to wear, but they're kind of neat just to have as a souvenir. And I think that a lot of people bought them for just that reason and stuff. But Riley, she's like a great salesperson, so we need to keep her in the fundraising side of things.
Okay, financial.
Ended the month of January with $1,086,810 compared to last year, $1,026,476. It's a gain of 5.9% or $60,333. Levy funds, the current funds, $799,236 through the end of January. And budget was $765,332. So we're actually running 4.4% above budget, which is a good thing. Payroll, compared to last year, this year, this is with taxes and everything included, $299,101. And last year, through this time, it was $255,537. So it's grown 16.4%, or $43,563. The payroll compared to budget is at 47.8% of the budget, and we're 7 months through the year. So.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Tidewater Station, through the end of January, is $34,018, but we booked another $30,332 from February 1 through the 18th, for a total of $64,350 total so far. And rebuild through the end of January is $44,031. So we've got some more building coming in, I'm sure. And that's about it. Most of the, almost everything is still under budget.
That's what it looked like.
There are a few. We'll see how things are as we progress toward the end of the year. We do have to start keeping an eye on the bottom. See how much money we have in reserve so we can get through.
Well, hopefully we've got most of the equipment repairs done.
So, yeah.
So Brett,
Yes.
I can't see you, so. I'd like to schedule some time where you and I can just kind of go over the financial report. Since I'm the treasurer, so.
Sure.
So if we could do that, maybe after the meeting, we can
Yeah.
figure out a time, so. Appreciate that, thank you.
I see we haven't done the capital outlay, things we budgeted for, doesn't look like it's been hit very hard. Self-contained breathing apparatuses, are we kind of doing that on hold for a little while, or do we have any plans for those kind of things?
Our first payment for the self-contained breathing apparatus isn't until August.
Oh, okay.
So it actually comes, it's.
It'll
budgeted
push
this
over to
year,
the next
roll
year.
over into
Yeah.
the next year.
Okay.
And so that won't come out just yet.
Okay. And then how about like the cardiac monitor? Are we gonna purchase one of those this year?
We were never gonna purchase that.
Oh, okay.
If we need to spend that money, we'll have to do a resolution to move it to something else. But for right now, we're just gonna leave it be.
Okay.
I need to go through the whole budget. There's a lot of stuff that was in last year's budget that just got moved forward.
Okay.
And we have no intention of spending that money, so.
Cool.
Good.
Okay. So do I have a motion to accept the financial report?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the financial report as presented.
Cody?
Second.
Peter, so, okay.
Yeah, that's all right.
All in
I
favor?
was like, I don't know if we needed it more official, but.
Yeah, no, sure. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Motion to pay the bills.
I make a motion that we pay the bills.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Correspondence.
No correspondence for the board, right? I do have a letter from the state of Oregon for you.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
give it to you after the meeting.
Okay. Well, we did get, we got those letters from Seal Rock. And I don't want to just ignore them. So can you give us a brief, what's going on there?
So they have some, I I want to be very careful that I don't speak out of turn, because it doesn't affect us directly. They have some members of the community in Seal Rock who are very unhappy about some of the issues with Seal Rock Fire District. One is budget. They did a petition back in, I think, October, when it first came out. And one of the claims in the petition was that Seal Rock Fire District was basically providing more services to Central Coast than Central Coast was providing to Seal Rock, subsidizing the deal. And they also made a claim that Seal Rock was giving away resources to Central Coast that money should have been collected on, and that was the skis. So what I did was I worked with Chief Secaris and really the Seal Rock Board, and I had one of the crews, one of the Seal Rock members and one of our Central Coast members do a 90-day report on our emergency responses, and specifically emergency responses because that was one of the areas they specifically highlighted in that petition. And did a report showing that if there was a financial gain, which department would have to bill the other, and at the end of that report, for that 90 days, it showed that Central Coast would end up billing Seal Rock for services because Central Coast provided more services to Seal Rock than Seal Rock had provided to Central Coast. We used the call volume through WBCC's reporting, and we also used our industry reporting, and we used the Oregon State Fire Marshal's rates for putting values to fire personnel, fire equipment. We didn't just make numbers up. We wanted to make sure we had a very resourceful way of justifying why those numbers were there. And so we put that in. Ultimately, they don't want the IGA in place, is my take on it. They would like to see Seal Rock Fire go back to what it was before with some of the volunteers. They don't want the fire chief to be there. And so I think by us working with them, with us having the IGA, and with us assisting them with things like, with matters like claims of subsidizing. Gosh, I can't talk.
Subsidizing.
You did it. With their claims and their petitions, I think that's, they wanted to try to push it over here and bring some of those claims over to here. So one of the things that I think is important for everyone to understand is that an IGA is not a financial agreement. The IGA's purpose is to provide better service delivery to the communities. The biggest push for why we wanted to go into the IGA was firefighter safety. We were sending firefighters in the middle of the night to emergencies in a 40 to 50,000 pound fire truck by themselves. And that was just not acceptable. Seal Rock was doing the same thing, and depending on the type of call, they were doing it to the same call. So bringing both districts together under an agreement like this took away that single responder, put them on the same vehicle, and made it safer for those responders because there's somebody to watch over each other on those calls. And that was the whole point of this. There were things that we added, like assisting with training, helping out with a duty officer on duty. All of those things still contribute to that better service delivery at the end of the day. And that's what this is about. And people keep trying to pull this back to a financial issue. It's really not a financial issue. This is about firefighter safety and providing better emergency services to the community. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Well, I've still heard very good thing, positive feedback from most community members I've spoken to, both from our district and from Seal Rock District. I mean, obviously, we know people in both. It's not, that's just across the bridge. So most people that I've spoken to have actually questioned, be like, oh, why is there Seal Rock rig coming to our calls in Walport? Or why is there Walport rig going to, up my neighborhood in Seal Rock? And, and when I explain it to them, they're like, oh, that makes sense. Why wouldn't we want to do that? Like, most people are pretty thrilled about it, to be honest with you. So, I don't know, and maybe I'm wrong, but my perception is that it would be a minority of folks in Seal Rock that are upset about this. That's my perception of it. I don't have any facts to back it up, but, so far, I think of my perception of the IGA, it's gone really well. I would like to see it continue, and probably expand, in my personal opinion, if, that's something their board is always up for, but speaking.
Yeah, right now we have a really good relationship with Seal Rock Fire. The chief of Seal Rock and myself are working great together. We have a very open-minded communication that we didn't initially have when we started the IGA. In my opinion, with the IGA, it's working very well, not only for the district, but for the communities as well. We've had many code saves. We've had more personnel on scenes, on both sides of the districts. At the end of the day, I would really hope that people would look at this agreement not with dollars in mind, but more importantly, is it providing better services when you call 911, and is it providing better safety for our firefighters in our community as well?
Well, an IGA is not a move to take over in any sense. It's a move to, mutually benefit from a relationship, which is what we're doing.
Yep.
We've kind of nicknamed the IGA, if you see our mass, it's called Bridging the Gap. Because the bridge separates the two districts, and that's what the IGA does, is it bridges that gap between the two districts. And so all the paid staff have a mask on Seal Rock side and our side, and we wear them all the time out in public. We call, except the medical calls, we put on the actual mask.
What about a situation where obviously it seems like the staff is pretty supportive of the idea of the IGA, right, and be able to have multiple people respond. What would be the union's take on maybe writing a community letter to state, why they like it, why, they feel safer, maybe a community outreach from them, especially if it's important for them, from Seal Rock and from Walport, to do a little bit of outreach and say, hey, this is important to us. I don't know how they feel about it, but I think that might go a long way with community members as a whole, especially people that are just reading Facebook and sometimes you don't always get the full truth on that stuff because
Facebook?
people.
Really?
That was a very diplomatic way of putting it.
Yeah, because so I don't know, just the thought, I don't know how they would feel about it.
I'm very comfortable saying that if we asked them, they would definitely do it.
Yeah.
They are very appreciative of the IGA. They are appreciative of not having to respond by themselves. So, and it was, like I said, that was the big, honestly, the biggest push transitioning us over, we transitioned that night, was we had a car fire that was spreading to a house with a person trapped in the garage. And the first unit on scene was a Seal Rock unit with one person because it was when they were still running by themselves.
Wow.
The second engine on scene was our engine with 3, and then myself chasing them as a command unit, and then the Yaw's engine chasing me. And that first so many minutes on scene of dealing with that was just a lot for one person.
Yeah.
And that was the point where we said, no more. They gotta be rolling as a crew and being able to do a rescue and provide better service, so.
Well, we were looking to hire a couple people, because we had lost a couple folks. I, as a volunteer, was covering some of the shifts to help, so we always had that 24 coverage. And there was several nights that I went on calls, just simple medical calls, but the neighborhoods could be kind of sketchy, and it's scary. You walk into somebody's house, you don't have any weapons to defend yourself other than one guy. I mean, really.
Yeah, and if it's a trap, which there have been in the past, that stuff's in the news all the time.
And that was with Toledo Fire, we went through a training that, was to watch how somebody's laying on the couch, if they call for a medical or unconscious person, if they're laying on the couch, how to wake them up, to stay away from their arms, that kind of thing, because it's a real thing. People call just to hurt firefighters.
Yeah.
It's kind of a scary thought. And when you're by yourself,
You're done for, yeah.
Yeah.
it's more scary.
You just hope you can get to your radio on time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Well, I really think that whatever that we can do to make this unification, make this work better, it's a good thing for us, for all of us. And I'd be in favor of any methods that we can to bring this together closer.
Yeah, there's always the possibility that somebody in the community doesn't agree with every single direction that every, organization is gonna take. In this case, there are some people that don't agree with these directions that Seal Rock is taking, and they've been very, very vocal about it.
Okay. So, old business Tidewater?
I kind of updated you there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then new business, Property Acquisition Steering Committee.
Yeah.
So it was discussed at our workshop that we should form a committee of 2 board members plus Jamie to start meeting with the city on a regular basis.
Then Eric.
Oh, and Eric, I'm sorry, yeah.
That's all right.
Did you say anything to Dan about it?
Well, I mentioned that we had, that we had discussed this, and if we, if we form the committee, the council meeting is going to be next Thursday, and they can pick some members to also be on the committee. So the timing is very good
Okay.
to,
So, does anyone want to throw any more discussion at that, or?
No, I think it's a good idea.
I
We need
do.
to move forward.
I do too.
Okay. So then how about a motion to formalize the people on the committee? And then-
I'll make that motion, sure.
Okay.
I motion that we take 2 board members, Tim Grady and Peter Carlich, and 2 paid staff of Jamie and Eric.
Okay.
And that we form a committee that will meet with the city to negotiate for the building that we're considering.
Okay. Any more discussion? Or do I have a second?
Second.
Yeah, okay, so-
Okay. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. We'll let them know that if they get something done at their meeting, we're ready
I
to
think I
get
can
started.
probably let them know.
Okay, thank you. So I was looking at you when I.
I was gonna kind of say, out of the group, really from the board, the 2 board members, I know it's really easy for Rita to talk because she works there, but there should be kind of a, almost like a point of contact, if you will, like a main person who kind of initiates discussions so that we don't have 4 people trying to initiate discussions and things. So, just kind of throw that out there for food for thought.
Okay, I'm okay with that being you because you're
Yep.
here and have closer contact
Yeah.
with, I know they're not in the building anymore.
It's a crosswalk going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thread that's just tickling my nose like crazy.
It's a further walk, but there's a direct line crosswalk.
There you go.
So you have to take your life in your hands to get across sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
It doesn't even help to have the sheriff's office up there.
If it's raining real hard, there's a drive-up window I hear.
there you go. Could you go get Dan for a minute?
I wonder if the fire truck would fit there.
Just for the
though, I don't
fun
know.
of it, you gotta do that. Maybe toot the siren at him. I need Dan.
Fire truck would fit.
So Jamie,
At least
so
once.
Jamie will be in charge of coordinating
Yeah,
with the city
yeah.
for.
Then you can send out emails to say,
Right.
how's this for a meeting time?
Start, since you're already there, and once they form their committee, we can have a point of contact.
Yeah,
in each
But you will probably actually be dealing with Dan because you are our paid staff and Dan is the city's paid staff to
Okay,
be part of that.
that works.
Okay, chief's report.
Just a second.
Okay.
New business, I think we should have a discussion of some sort about the disposition of the chief. I feel that we really need to make a public announcement about the dismissal of the Chief Woodson, rather than just people wondering, people ask me.
Oh, well, it's gonna be in the paper. I mean, it's already been in the paper, basically, but gonna make just a generic, I'll send it around before I send it in. But that was part of the agreement with him too, is that we would do a public announcement about it so that there's not 100 questions flying.
Yeah, because there are.
Yeah,
Yeah, it needs to be timely done.
yeah. So I'll get that out probably this weekend. I'll send it around.
Okay?
My days at the office haven't been productive to anything but office work lately, so. Okay, now chief's report.
Okay, so Rescue 72, I did finally get some correspondence back from FEMA, and so I kind of laid it all there. I'm not going to go into too much details, but basically, selling the vehicle is not going to be an option. If you sell the vehicle, in their case, they forecast that vehicle has an 8-year life. So if we sold it, they would retain back the portion of what so in this case, 80%, 80-20 grant. So 80% would go back to FEMA, and like 20% would go to us. So being able to sell and then purchase a more functional vehicle is not going to be an option. But he did say that doing a trade with another agency is totally possible. And so just something we can talk about further later. This was started back at the end of October when Chief Woodson sent out the initial email about what can we and can't we do with this vehicle. So district policies, again, so last month we sent out the PDF collection of the policies for everybody to review. At this point, I'm kind of just waiting for the board members to say, I've had enough time to review them and they look good, or provide us feedback. More importantly, provide Wendy the feedback because she's kind of the gatekeeper on the documents, and go from there. So we do need to get a policy manual in place.
I promise I'll start mine this weekend.
Yeah, it's really important.
There is one section that does need a little revision, and that's on our safety committee. And I'm working with, going to be working with Chief Mason and our safety committee chair, Charlie, to kind of revise those. And we have a safety committee meeting on Monday, so we'll kind of work on that too. So if we get an updated one, I'll send just that portion out. I'll send that updated version for that portion to everyone.
Okay.
And then the other document you'll see here pretty soon will be the disaster plan for the district. That was part of our OSHA inspection, so we'll be putting that in play. That doesn't really go on the policy manual, but it's another manual that we have to have on hand of what do we do
Right.
when things happen. So,
Run.
Well, I think we've had several iterations, but I'm sure it needs updating, so.
Yeah.
McKinsey Group, I just kind of put a very quick recap from the workshop, so and we kind of just went over that with the committee. Pulse Point is up and running for the communities of Sail Rock and Central Coast jurisdiction. So if you go to, depending on what platform you have on your phone or media devices, you can download the app. I put in here, if you're, and for the public, if you're specifically looking for Central Coast, the search comes up as actually, it says Central Coast FR, not Fire Rescue, but FR abbreviated. And then Seal Rock comes up as Seal Rock. It immediately generates. So this is great. This is going to be able to not only give us a second notification system for emergencies, but also notify card carrying and CPR certified people in the community if they happen to be in the nearby vicinity of somebody who has a cardiac event. This app, if they're adding in all the public access AEDs that are in the community, so that if you have a cardiac event and you need to do early defibrillation, you can literally look on the map and it'll show you where the closest AED to you that the public has access to is located, and be able to send somebody to go get it while you're doing CPR.
Do we have those available in the community right now?
We need to get more. There's a lot of really nice grant options to do that. We had one that was in the front of the station, and it's getting maintenance. It's been out of service for a while, so we're going to get it put back in play, and that'll be available. But it'd be nice to get more, and like I said, there's programs that we can get grants through to provide those to businesses and then have them accessible to the public. And all they have to do is hang them on the wall.
Yeah, I
I
think
believe
that's
Ray's has one, and I think the drugstore has one.
Oh, okay.
And I've seen one somewhere else, I can't remember where, but I was
Schools
surprised.
all have them.
Yeah, the schools have them.
So we're gonna identify those on this program, and then you'll be able to see where those are if you need to access one. In general, the public can download this program and just see the calls are running, just like Active 911, on their phone. So it'll alert, in the settings, you can go in and you can actually tell it what types of calls you want the app to actually notify you of. If you don't want to know about anything other than structure fires, you can go and check everything but structure fires, and it'll only tell you when there's a structure fire. So it's a really nice, it's a very good app, and this whole time, this was available to us for free. This is actually part of our dispatch subscription. So Lieutenant Booker has been working with dispatch for WBCC for the last couple of months to get all the parameters put in place so that it would activate, and then we got it. So ISO, I talked with Dave Highland, actually I talked to him just this afternoon, and one of the things that I'm looking at is vehicle resources and how much money we're putting into them specifically, but overall, how are our resources deployed and what are they used for? And we have a tender up at Five Rivers that it doesn't function as it should. The pump has been frozen on it for who knows how long, and the only thing we can really do with that tender is a gravity dump, which is basically open the valve and the weight of the water forces it out. There's nothing else that takes it out of the vehicle. The steering on that vehicle is starting to diminish, and it's going to need to be completely overhauled if we continue to keep letting it go like that. So I called him, and my biggest concern was we have tenders that can be moved around, and we can put a tender at Tidewater and a tender at Five Rivers that are fully capable, and not have a tender here at Wellport, because we use more often we use the tender that's just across the bridge of the Bayshore Station as part of our IGA. So I asked him if I was to do that, would we see a change in our ISO rate? And he looked it up and he said, we were only 3 points away from actually being at 4 on our ISO.
Yeah, that's like Gary said.
That hurts me to hear that. So I'm very confident that based off of the restoring of the training program with the addition of our staffing levels, our IGA, the tracking of our duty officers and staff in crew sense, our check-in programs, I'm very confident, and I will run the numbers myself, so nothing's going to happen, now. But I'm confident that if we did that changeover and we surplus that tender out and get it out from under us as a maintenance liability, so to speak, not only would our score not take a negative hit, but when we get reevaluated, we'll probably end up going down to a 4. So, hopefully. I don't want to say anything that says any kind of guarantee. I want to run all the numbers and formula first.
So you don't think that in the future we'd be wanting to look to replace it and have a tender here?
I think in the future we do. I think for right now it's not. It's currently just sitting in the station and it's not operable. So why continue to keep it and just throw money at it at this point?
Which one is that? Is that the big yellow one? Or?
That's the one that's older than me. It's the, is that a Mack up there?
No, it's the one up at Five Rivers is the old Ford. It's actually kind of scary to drive.
Used to be at
Cab over.
Tidewater?
Yeah, it used to be at Tidewater, now it's out of Five Rivers, and the green machine, I call it, is at Tidewater.
So essentially we'll move the green machine.
Yeah, it'll go up.
The one that, the carrier that's currently assigned to Tidewater will move to Five Rivers, and the engine, the former engine 7202, which is considered a tender, will move to Tidewater. And so that'll make sure that we can keep all our vehicles stored inside, here at the main station, as well as the other stations, keeping the water supply up. And keep in mind, we're also increasing the water supply in Tidewater by adding that tank to the station with the pump and the
true.
Right.
hydrant out there
Yeah.
as well, and that's gonna help out as well, so.
That green one came from Alaska. We bought it, it was a tender on the pipeline.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it came here with these big honking tundra tires on it that they made it about 100 miles down the freeway, and they were foam filled. They got so the foam all melted inside them, and they had to stop and buy tires on the way home. Because it's not meant to go more than 15 miles an hour.
Or on road, probably.
Or on roads.
Or above zero. So,
So,
Yeah.
and that'll reduce our number of vehicles, which will ultimately save us some cost savings because we won't spend as much on insurance, et cetera, for these numbers of vehicles.
And having them all inside and undercover is nice too.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, for most of the first year, last year, our wildland vehicle, the Brush 72 vehicle sat outside, and was unsecured because we didn't have any parking for it in the station, so, we've been able to remedy that, and when Tidewater's all finished and we open that station back up, it'll have Tender 73, Brush 73, and Engine 73 all housed inside that station
Yeah,
with no problem.
yeah. Well, I mean, I know that was one of the reasons why they were sitting out was because of the Tidewater station, but
Right.
it'll be nice to have them.
Yeah, actually, all of our vehicles, other than the units we just surplused and the military truck that's sitting outside now, all of our vehicles are housed indoors right now. So we don't have any vehicles sitting outside. Other than, well, utilities, which is always sitting outside, so. Yeah, the pickup. But-
well, and of course, once the boathouse is done, the boat won't be in there either, so that'll
Right.
give you more room too.
Yeah,
Right, we'll have to find somewhere to park the trailer, but the boat will be out, and that'll give us more room too, yeah, definitely. Speaking of the boathouse, that's the next one on the list, John County was able to meet with, the engineer from the port today, and so they're trying to get us some more information. I'm gonna meet with, the port here pretty soon, once they get the numbers locked in, and go down there, we're gonna be talking about financially, how much does the district need to contribute to finalize this project, but also have enough to be able to put the lift in, make sure it's operational from the start. So, to kind of give some background, the boathouse was part of the bond, but it never had dedicated funds, assigned to it. It was always we're gonna make it happen as best as we can. So it's getting down to the point, that the port is supposed to open back up in about April, is when they were targeting their completion date. And it's kind of getting down towards the end of it, and they're starting to see what kind of funding they're gonna have left for the overall project. And so it's getting to that point where they want to have discussions, we might need a little bit of financial help. So we do have money that is secured in the budget for that. It was originally secured more for purchasing equipment to go in the boathouse, the boat lift, things like that, but I think that we can accomplish both. And so I'll know for sure once we sit down and they have some hard numbers for us to look at. So, EF recovery, I signed the agreement's in play, and just went over some of the specifics with them this morning. And so we'll be starting to collect data. Actually, we started to collect data yesterday when we had a vehicle fire. So we'll be putting that into play here soon, and hopefully we'll start to see benefits coming from that program. It's budget season. March is budget season. So we're going to be collecting budget requests from our personnel so that we can start to set up for what do we need to buy, what can we buy, how much money. We have a new budget process that I put in place that's a form, and it requires them to go out, and unless it's a sole proprietor, they have to get 3 sources to buy it from and try to find the best pricing and the best location to get it from. You know, sometimes you get deals on shipping and things that can make the difference. So that's going into place. The military truck should be leaving soon. I did contact ODF and I talked with the rep, and they are trying to work with Medford Fire and see if they want to take the truck. And if they do, they might even come up and get it themselves. And so we won't even have to move it anywhere. If they don't, then we're gonna talk with them about moving it back to Salem to basically the staging yard for that equipment. And so either way, I'll be getting out of here pretty soon. Surplus property, the generator's going on to go deal soon. The ambulance is already up and we've already gotten bids on it. So at this time, unless it's changed in the last couple hours,
We're getting $1,000.
we know we're locked into it for $1,000 so far. So as the auction goes on, if we keep getting bids, it'll go up from there. We were hoping to at least get $1,000 on it. That was our reserve. So we're already past our expectations at this point.
Great.
TNT tools, our extrication tools have not been serviced. They're supposed to be serviced every year. That's what maintains our lifetime warranty on those tools, is that they have to be serviced annually. So I brought the reps over and had them do the servicing. We had 2 of our pumps that they had gummed up carburetors because of the ethanol fuel. So we've got a few things we're gonna do to remedy this. One is we're gonna purchase the appropriate fuels to prevent that. We're gonna do training on making sure that when we're done using those pumps, instead of turning them off, you shut the fuel off and let the fuel drain out of it. And just make sure that we're doing a better maintenance job on those pumps. They were on vehicles that don't get used a lot. We have an excess of extrication tools that I'm gonna look into changing that to be more efficient for motor vehicle accidents. But we basically have 2 full sets of tools and then 2 mini sets of tools, essentially 4 sets. That's a lot. So I did talk with Tyler, the rep, about some options on how to kind of reduce down, especially if we were to get a rescue sometime soon, that we can put tools on and actually carry stuff to the motor vehicle accidents like we need to. So that's going to be a growing program over time. But for right now, we're fixing them. We're putting new carburetors on them soon.
I was gonna actually go
back in place.
talk to Dave with them. See if he can help me out. I'm running out of hours.
Yeah.
So we have a trailer that was parked up at Public Works. I called emergency management and tried to do some background. Okay, where did this trailer come from? What's it for? What's supposed to be in it? Currently, it's stocked full of tents. After talking with Jenny of emergency management for the county level, that's an HPP acquired trailer through a grant. It is the South County MCI Mass Casualty Incident Trailer and Disaster Cash Trailer. It's designed to be able to be mobily transported to a mass casualty event. Should we have one, if we had a 12-car pileup on 101 for whatever reason, ice storm or something, I don't know. And if you pull it to the scene, it has all the extra medical equipment to handle that influx of patients that we wouldn't normally see. It's also got disaster. So I have the inventory. I had her send me the inventory. We are working on putting that trailer back together and having it accessible, mobile for that purpose, and keeping compliance with that grant that we got from them to have that stuff. So hopefully by pretty soon that'll be up and running and ready to go. And then we can disregard the hiring list that got pulled this morning by Seal Rock, so it's no longer active for now. So, any questions?
No, very complete, thank you.
Yep.
On a side note, I was asked when could I provide my resume and documents, and I said during the work actually the one I sent it to you, but you have hard copies, I believe now, so, that's all turned into you guys. And if you wanna see specific copies I put on there, if you wanna see anything specific, besides what I listed, I can provide copies as well. I just didn't want, I didn't think you'd want to start over, but.
And I think the closing date is tomorrow at
Tomorrow.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we think about having a meeting for
I think-
interviews?
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah.
So, you know, think about scheduling a executive session.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Next week?
Fine.
Next Thursday? No.
Next Thursday might not be good,
Let me check my calendar.
only because I have a council meeting and I never know how long those are gonna go.
Oh, that's right, they have a council
Yeah.
meeting next Thursday.
That'd be a long day for you anyway.
I should be
Let's see,
pretty
what is that?
good.
22nd through 26th.
That should be good, 22nd, 23rd, or 24th.
Any night but Wednesday is okay with me, really.
So 22nd or 23rd.
Tuesday's okay.
Tuesday's good for me.
I think Tuesday works for me.
Okay, 5:30?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
We just get out the notification and we should be good.
You take care of sending out notification for
5:30?
executive session for,
You should be, if you look back a couple of meetings where we did executive sessions about, well, no, that was personnel discipline, so
Yeah.
that one won't work.
no, there is a separate ORS site and I
Yeah.
can forward you the language.
I
if you
have
need.
the link to all the different
Okay,
ORSs.
yeah.
Take care of it.
Perfect.
Alrighty, so that's gonna be. That's 26th, I got it wrong.
Are you
I'm thinking it's
gonna have
either-
it- Are you gonna have it in here?
Yeah, I think we should just do it here, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanna make sure I put it on my calendar thing.
Oh, yeah, and there aren't any trainings scheduled for,
No, that's what I was just looking at
Okay.
while you guys were discussing to make sure, so.
okay. We don't want to be talking around CPR. Makes it awkward.
You didn't like all the dummies?
Of course, actually, the dummies, that'd be okay, right? You know?
The infant ones are kinda creepy.
Yeah, that's.
They're too like.
They all are if you're not expecting to see them.
I found it interesting last night, because it's been over 20-some years since I've done any kind of CPR training. But it was interesting when we started actually, not just the watching stuff, but started actually doing it, how much of it actually comes back.
Oh, yeah.
Especially the infant stuff, because I had to do it for, doing daycare and stuff like that, but, yeah, you're almost amazed at how much you actually do remember, even though you think you forgot everything.
Although it's also amazing how much things have changed, because I remember my very first CPR, classes, which would have been 40 years ago. The methodology has changed a bit since then,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I taught it all through the 80s, and
Mm-hmm,
it's totally different.
yep.
It hasn't changed that much for me, Rita. Sorry, I had to. I was trying to think of whether I really wanted to say that or not. I was like,
Well, see, I was sitting here thinking, I'll bet when I was teaching infant CPR, I could have used you as a mannequin. Okay, well, I don't have anything specifically. I think I've talked enough this week. Do we have any audience? Oh,
The last I checked it was.
No, doesn't look like it.
okay, so any good of the order? Nope. Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Good.
All your signatures are here, Jan.